Hi, welcome to Outlaw Bookseller. This is just a quick video. It's kind of a channel update. Normally there'd be a new video on Tuesday night. It is Tuesday, isn't it? I think it is. But I've had a lot sort of going on and I've not been feeling great recently. Been doing some DIY, did some painting this morning. Had a new electric drill cam today as well. But I'm not going to bore you with DIY because DIY is hell, isn't it? Let's face it. But I just wanted to say we're sort of nearly at 8,000 subscribers now. So we've gone up by 2,000 since Christmas, which is pretty good. But it's in line with my expectations, which are, you know, every 3 months we get about another 1,000. So by next Christmas we should be at about 10,000, and we'll see what happens then if I manage to keep things going. I am struggling to keep things going because I've not been well, as you know. So I thought I'd update you about the detail on that. For a year, I've been taking steroids for a complaint called polymyalgia, and alongside them, I have to take, let's see, calcium. I have to take a drug called alendronic acid to get the calcium into my bones, because one side effect of steroids is that it can leach the calcium out your bones. You get osteoporosis. I'm 61, so I'm getting older. I've got to watch that. And polymyalgia is a inflammatory disease that means I've had a lot of pain in my legs and feet for the last year or so. So it's been a long, hard road, and it does make you very fatigued. So I'm very tired a lot of the time as well, and I've been gradually reducing my dosage. However, it does impact on your appetite and you can't exercise as much. So I've put the weight on, as you will have seen. And for that reason, I've had a couple of blood tests over the last 2 months, and I am now taking statins as of today to help get the cholesterol down, because as it stands I've got a 10 to 12% risk of heart attack or stroke in the next 10 years, which of course we don't want. And even though my instinct is to sort of cut down on the food and then run around like mad, I can't run around like mad at the moment, and by that I mean walking to work, that sort of thing, so I can't do it. So that's what's happening there. So thanks to everybody for your support. I know I've mentioned this as an off chance sort of on the side many times, but I just thought I'd go in a bit more detail, and that's why you're not seeing so many long form videos from me, and why I'm not doing so many out and abouts. Plus the weather in this country is just terrible at the moment. Just a few things. For those of you who are brand new here, I know there's some of you, you'll see this on virtually every video. I wrote this book, which is still out there. You can still get it online, and there we go. And that's sort of like the basis of my authority, really, plus the sort of 40 years I've spent in book selling, which I'm talking about a lot because it's 40 years this year, and it sort of feels like a real milestone. So I'll be doing something about that, looking back at those 40 years. And Jules Bird's done something similar recently when it comes to paperback collecting, so do watch that if you haven't seen it. It's really, really good. But what else? I thought I'd show you a few books as well. So anyway, what I should be saying is thanks everybody who's subscribed. Of course, there is that thing where, you know, it's all very well and good having lots of subscribers, but you need the views as well, and the views on the channel are gradually going up. I'd like to do more things like the Ballard video I did a while ago, which people loved. But you've got to find the locations, and it's the time and everything as well. And as I say, I'm finding it quite hard to get things done. I need to have a haircut, really, and that's happening later this week. I feel like Rot Wang from Metropolis. So I always think I look like Rot Wang when my hair gets a bit too long. So, you know, it is what it is. But I'll show you a few things I've picked up. This is something I meant to put in my last video, and let's see, and that's the best science fiction of G Ballard, published by Orbit, Futura, and this dates back to the late 70s. Let's just have a look. 77, and this only had this printing, and it's interesting that this is Futura because Futura and MacDonald are not sort of related to any of Ballard's usual publishers, so this was licensed specially. It's got an introduction by him, and there's a comment in each story, and this is really good, but it's very hard to find. So if you find it in any condition, snap it up. It's really, really rare. I'd never seen one before. I've seen it online, but never seen one in the flesh, and one popped up on eBay, and I thought I'd better grab that. Nice little A format paperback. And the great thing about this is a good thing to read for people who are new to Ballard for SF. I just wish somebody'd reissue it because I think it's a great collection. and it covers a lot of his early work, including some of the more traditional SF stories. And he actually says in one of the introductory pieces that he wishes he'd written more stories like that, which is a confession I found quite shocking. I've reread some of this and it's really great, and it opens with a wonderful story, A Question of Re-Entry, which is fantastic. And that's a sort of Conrad Heart of Darkness type thing. It's got similarities to the Drowned World and also to The Day of Creation, which is the book he published circa 86, 87, his first book after the big success of Empire of the Sun in 84. And that's a really great one. And it sort of fit in with my recent mode of watching Vietnam movies like The Deer Hunter and Apocalypse Now. And I've also said that I've recently reread some Lucius Shepard. If you've never read Lucius Shepard and you like Ballard, and if you like Vietnam War movies, you really should read some. The early Shepard is all set in jungles, and I particularly recommend Life During Wartime, which is a Gollancz masterwork. And there is a video about that on the channel. I'll link this in because I see it sitting around and people are not reading it, and it's brilliant. Shepard, no longer with us, great writer. But yeah, I was really pleased with that. It wasn't cheap, I have to admit. What else have we got? I think I mentioned this vaguely. Ian bought me this, Blood from the Mummy's Tomb on Blu-ray. This is a really nice American edition, which has got lots of extras which are not on the UK one, and much better cover. And it's a reversible cover, and it's got a very toothsome Valerie Leon, of course. And if I just pop the keep case open, and it's got this alternate sleeve design. I think I've done this in the community page, which is really, really nice. I do like a reversible sleeve. I've got very much now with Blu-rays and DVDs that the only ones I keep in their cases are the ones which have really, really nice artwork. And it's an interesting thing. If you watch lots of blockbusters, you'll notice that the more successful the film is, the bigger the film is, the more unimaginative the cover is. That's a real interesting thing. Is that true with books? Maybe we'll address that at some point. Something else I picked up on a whim on the Ballardian thing, this is a Folio Society, he unveils it slowly, is Empire of the Sun. And you can get these, they're around, you know, and Empire is not my favourite Ballard, but it is an important one. And somebody said on the channel recently, are you going to do something about that period with Ballard where that goes from Empire, which is 1984, up until the sort of late 90s? And it's a very good point. It's a very interesting period. So I will at some point. I'm actually going to reread this because I haven't read it for years. And it's one of the few Ballads I don't have a first of. Mine's like about a third or fourth reprint. I first read it in paperback because I bought it at the point just before I started collecting hardcovers. I was collecting Moorcock, but not everybody else. And of course it's illustrated. It's out of print at the moment. Actually, Folio have a sale at the moment for the UK, and you can get that John Wyndham trilogy, which I showed on the channel a while ago. It's about 32 quid plus postage, so that's well worth getting. I was going to buy the Logical Fantasy book from Subterranean Press, which is lots of early Wyndham stories. I think I've got them all. But of course, you know, the postage from the US is just completely, you know, completely not on at all. So, but I have been reading some stuff. Later in the week, there'll be some reviews. I've been reading some work by a favorite writer who is thankfully coming back into the, how can I put it? He's coming back into the vision of younger readers, because one of his books has just come into print, and it's the first one of his books in a mass market edition to appear in the UK for something like 40 years, which is shocking when I tell you who it is. And we'll address that later in the week. That's really good news. So I've been rereading him, and that made me think about somebody associated with him, who was the very wonderful Michael Moorcock. I mean, we can talk about important figures in science fiction. We can talk about what probably would have happened anyway in science fiction. Somebody would have come along and named the genre. The market was already there. But it was Michael Moorcock with New Worlds who really made a difference. And Michael Moorcock is, in that sense, he's my hero. I mean, I like his work a lot. I've started to do videos about him. I've been reading him for years. He was the person who started me collecting hardcovers. And, you know, but really, for me, as much as I love his work, the contribution he made through this magazine, and there's a lot of talk about New Wave at the moment on SF BookTube. There's more talk about it, and that's a good thing. However, a lot of the time, people are talking about the American variant and what they perceive is New Wave. I would say look back at my videos, look at the one about New Wave anthologies. It has this magazine in the thumbnail, and look at the top 10 British SF New Wave video, because this is the real stuff. This is the stuff that made all the difference. Spinrad. See, that's the thing. It was transatlantic. Harlan Ellison's A Boy and His Dog. Look at this. Ballard, M. John. This is the thing that really made the difference and helped SF survive beyond its pop roots. And it's, you know, I think John at Sci Fi Scavenger did a video the other day about how the 50s could be looked at as the real golden age, and that was something that Silverberg said. And yeah, absolutely true. I would say the 50s is more important than the 40s, but the golden age is 1939 to the end of the 40s. Let's not get confused about that. It's important to get everything right on the terminology, and that sort of raises the question of how influential this channel is, and I'm going to address that in a video probably pop up early next week. I'm going to leave you to it for now, because this is just to fill out. To thank you all again for your views and subscriptions as we come up to 8,000. I'm going to sign off now because I need to try one of these new pills. So there you go. That'll be an interesting experience, and hopefully will set me further on the road to recovery and greater fitness, and so I can do more than I've been doing. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for the gifts, you know, the super thanks, everything. It's just fantastic, and I do hope to be back up to fuller strength before too long. A lot of you over the last year have said, you know, get well soon. It is going to be a slow process. I have several months left yet on the steroids, but you know, stick with me and we'll get there. Thanks for watching. This is Outlaw Bookseller signing out for now. Bye.